Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, I'm going to talk to you about pointers and data structures. It is a light introduction to pointers and data structures. This knowledge is important because in the coming few next lectures, video tutorials, we will be doing some pointers and data structures. Therefore, I need to equip you with the background theoretical understanding of pointers and data structures. What are pointers? Pointers are memory addresses that store an address of another memory location. Contrast this with ordinary addresses which stores values. Take a look at an example here. This is a diagram showing the difference between pointers versus ordinary addresses. And this is a diagram of your RAM memory, random access memory. In the left column are your addresses in hexadecimal notation. And you can see here the addresses begin. This is just an example, 234022A0, and increments in 4 bytes increment. The next address will be 234022A4, an increment of 4, and then the next one will increase another 4, and you get 8, and on and on and on. And in the right column are the corresponding data that is stored in each of these memory address. Take for example the first memory address. This location stores the value 96. So 96 could be health, for example, a player's health 96. The next address, A4, could store the ammo, for example 18 for the ammo. Now take a look at the third memory address. This memory address does not store a definite value. Instead, it stores another address. And this address is 234022A0, which is pointing to this first address. So this is an example of a pointer. So you can see now, ordinary addresses like the first two stores actual values. It could be integers, it could be strings, it could be floating point numbers. Floating point numbers are decimal numbers, for example 23.56 and so on. Or it could be Boolean values like ones and zeros. 1 meaning true, 0 meaning false. And then pointer are memory addresses which stores other addresses. So that is the difference between ordinary address and pointer address. Yet they are all called pointers. Just that the difference is that what are they storing? If they are storing actual values, they are ordinary addresses. If they are storing another address, they are called pointers. How to access the contents of memory? To access the content of a memory, we will use square brackets like this. And then we put the address of the RAM memory within the square brackets. For example, we can put the address 2340228A8. So this means that you are accessing the contents stored in this memory location. So the square bracket means extract or write to the value stored in that memory address. Let's take a look at another example. So assuming that we have memory locations which stores this data, and assuming that EAX is a register in CPU, one of the registers, assuming the EAX register stores this address 234022A0, which is this one. Now in order to access the value stored in this memory address, we will put a square bracket like this, and then inside it we will put the address, and in this case the address is stored in the register, and we want to access the first address, so we put offset 0. It is quite common to see this in the cheat engine and also in the assembly programs. You will see +0, meaning the offset. So if we wanted to access the second address, you will put +4. So +4 will access the value 18. If you wanted to access this address, then you will put +8. So EX +8 will access the data stored here, which is another address. Let's move on. So this is quite common. You will see this quite a lot in the cheat engine when we do the coming next few lessons. Next we will talk about data structures. So what is a data structure? A data structure is a group of memory locations containing data about a single object, and sometimes we call it entities. So objects and entities mean the same thing. For example, you have players, you have enemies, and so on. Those are entities. So for example, a player object data structure may contain health, ammo, x coordinate of the player, y coordinate, and z coordinate. Now, to look at it from the perspective of memory, this may be what you could see. For example, at this address 2340220, you might find the health 96, and the next corresponding address you might find the ammo, and the next corresponding one will be the x coordinate, and then go on. Next address will be y, and the following one could be the z coordinate. Now all these could be just for one player, and the second player will have the same group of data in another location in memory. Take a look at this one. On the left, you will have the player data structure at this base address. So this is the base address for this player, 234028000. And compare this with the enemy. The enemy's base address is different. It could be at a different location, 234022200. However, you will notice some similarity. This player's data structure will contain health as the first address, and the second offset will be the ammo, and the third offset could be the x coordinate. The next offset will be 12.8, which is the y coordinate, and so on. And for the enemy, you will see the same pattern here. Of course, the health might not be the same. It could be 80, 88 for example, and ammo maybe 12, and the x coordinate of course needs to be different. It could be a different location in the map, and the y coordinate also could be different. Probably this could be 22, and the z coordinate could be the same, or maybe different. Okay, so now you can see player and enemy both have the same types of data structure, but the values are different. And you can see here, first offset will be this health, second offset will be the ammo, and so on. So sometimes it is common to see the offset notation being used to refer to data structures. Take a look at this example. Here we're using pointer offset notation to refer to the corresponding data structure members. So these are also called members of the data structure. In the previous slide, you can see the actual memory address, but for purposes of analysis, you will probably see this quite often using the offset notation. So EAX could be the base address of player, and the EAX for the enemy and the player will be different because they might be loaded at different locations. So the offset, however, will be the same. In order to access the health for the player, you will access it from offset 0 for the player, and for the enemy you will also access it from offset 0. And if you want to access the ammo for the player, it might be offset 4. Same thing for the enemy, offset 4, and so on, X, Y, and Z. So you can see this is the meaning of data structures. The generic class of the data structure is the same. First offset could mean one thing, second offset another thing, and so on. But when you use it in the entity, the object itself, they take on different addresses, but still maintaining the same offset into each of the different members of the data structure. Now it is important to know this because later on we'll be doing using this understanding to hack the game. So that is all. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.